All right. So, Leah, you will almost certainly have done this exercise before, but we're going to do it again.
That's all right.
And I'm going to start with you because you've probably done this exercise before.
Fair enough.
How many contacts do you have in your database?
Total?
Total.
Probably, I want to say probably 1,000.
Okay. This marker is right in front of us.
Bad.
We'll make it work. All right. Before we even go to the next step, let me ask you a follow-up question.
Yep.
How many of the contacts you have in your database would recognize your name if they heard it, or your face if they saw it?
Recognize my name or my face?
Mm-hmm.
At least half.
Okay. We'll say 600.
Sure.
Gotta get a different driver.
Yeah.
This is rough. This Friday is not too dead. One of these,
Oh, was that in the box?
hopefully it's in the box.
Uh-oh.
All right, we're just gonna. All right. We're gonna use 600.
Wow.
So this is actually a part of the prior class to this one, my database optimization playbook. But let's define database. Let's define contacts. A database is,
Which one, contacts or database?
to me, your database is just the number of contacts that you have.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right.
The number of contact, like, to me, a contact is someone that you can reasonably expect to get business from.
Okay.
If someone does not recognize your name or recognize your face, you can't count them as someone you can reasonably expect to get business from.
Yeah.
Yet, they are an opportunity. If you have a way of contacting them, they are an opportunity for you to turn them into a contact that you can reasonably expect to get business from.
Fair.
But for the purposes of this exercise, we're going to use the 600 for you.
Okay.
How many deals did you do last year?
Oh, man. You had 10 last year?
Because it's still too early in the day to do math. I'm going to grab my phone. We're going to get a calculator out. We're going to figure out your conversion rate on your database.
Good. Rough. But that's why I'm here.
All right. So you have a 1.7% conversion rate, which is actually national average, between 1.5% and 2%. So you are smack dab on the average for conversion rate on your database.
Oh, nice.
So we're going to do this with your New York business. So
Okay.
how many people do you have in your database for your New York business?
487.
You said 487?
And I would say about like 75% with our times ago.
Okay.
I'm not the best with putting people in my database, that's okay.
Well, let's do 37 times 75. We got 366. We'll round up. Okay. And then how many deals did you do for your New York business last year?
It's like our 11 or so.
Okay.
We say 11.
So we say, and then we'll divide it by 366. 3%. So better than average. Do we know what the statistical average is for the amount of transactions that take place in any given database over any given year. Like what percentage of any given database is buying or selling real estate every year statistically?
Is it at least 10%? Is it more?
So it's about 6.4.
Okay.
Now that is just them buying or selling. That's not counting the number of referrals you can get from your database. That's not counting, anything outside of like the humans in your database are transacting business, either buying or selling. So obviously, if we're trending at 3% or 1.7%, and we can get at minimum, there's 6.5%, 6.4% in our database transacting, there's room there, there's a gap there. The way to figure out where the gap is to look at, okay, am I communicating with them enough? Am I communicating with them consistently? And then if you're doing those things, which it sounds like you do, but you're not getting the response back, it's usually about the messaging and what that communication looks like.
Okay.
So that's a big part of what we're doing with this class. So, we can talk about this, but a real estate database is a group of people that you, the agent, can foster relationships with and can reasonably expect to get business and referrals from.
Yeah.
So, in conversations with very, very high performing agents and teams and rainmakers, there is a consistent trend of the ones who get the most referral business and the most repeat business are breaking out their database into these 3 levels. So I'm a big proponent of keeping leads over here. Leads are not actually a part of your database until they become someone that you can reasonably expect to get business from, and then they're a contact in your database. If you just have their contact information and they don't know who you are, again, to me, that's a lead, that's not a contact. There's opportunity there, but don't count them in your database number, because until you create that relationship, you're not getting business from that. So in terms of your database itself, there's going to be the haven't mets, the mets, and then the VIPs are really what we're going to focus in on. But let's talk about what each of these circles kind of means. So your VIPs are the driving force behind your business. They are the growth engine of your database, and realistically, that's where you want every person in your database to end up. The perfect world is everyone in your database is a VIP, and we'll kind of talk about that in a little bit. The Mets are the people who know who you are and what you do. You've had multiple one-on-one conversations with them. If they see your face, they hear your name, not only do they recognize you, but they have a positive association with you and who you are. The haven't met database, people that, know you're a real estate agent, hopefully. They recognize your name or recognize your face, but they don't really know you. They don't have a positive or necessarily negative feeling associated with you. They are aware of you. They're the people that we have the most work to do in order to transact with them. So do we know what the 2 things that you need to have with someone, or someone needs to have in you, in order for them to transact business with you?
Is it that emotional connection?
Well, realistically, if we really boil it down, it is just 2 things. You need to have trust.
Yeah, okay.
And you need to have credibility.
Okay. Fair.
I can spell, I promise. They need to believe that you can represent them in their best interests, and they need to believe that you have the skills to accomplish their real estate goals. So, again, in the prior class to this, the database optimization playbook, we organized and tagged the database. So Now we're going to get a little bit more broad instead of that really granular level. And we're going to talk about what's important to do with each of these categories in your database. Because again, as we'll get to in a minute, the goal is to drive them to the center. You want to turn your haven't mets into mets, and you want to turn your mets into VIPs. So let's talk more about your haven't mets. They don't know you. Maybe they know you're in real estate. Maybe they remember your name. Maybe they have met you in person before. The haven't met nomenclature is just, it's a kind of broad catch-all term. Come on in.
Hey, how you doing?
Yep.
Sorry I'm late.
No worries. Here, I'm gonna slide this over to you.
What's up?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, how you been?
Good.
So the key factor here is that they don't know who you are, and when I say who you are, again, maybe they know your name, maybe they even know like where they know you from, but they don't have this trust yet, and they don't have this credibility yet.
Okay.
They don't really know you. It's the difference between an acquaintance, someone that, oh, I know I've seen that person and bumped into them before, and like, oh, that's Leah. I know she comes into the office all the time. I know she likes to ride her little scooter or her bike. I know that she has the cool face shield. I know this, I know that. I know it's taking that next step where they associate more things and feelings with you. So in terms of how we transition them, we want to get them from, yeah, I think I know them, to, yes, I do know them and they're great. And the big part of that is starting with the first impression. And by first impression, I don't necessarily mean the first time that you ever encounter them. Because again, most of these people have probably talked to you or met you in some way, shape, or form. But we all know that there's a difference between the first time that you meet someone and the first time that you get to know someone. So the goal is to have that first get to know you moment with them. The absolute best way to do this is face to face. There's nothing better for starting a relationship building journey than talking to someone face to face. If that's not possible, make it voice to voice. Hopefully we all know that, like, in terms of impactful communications, face to face is absolutely best. Voice to voice is the next best. And then everything else kind of takes a backseat to those two. Texts and emails just don't. They are relationship continuers. They are not relationship builders. So start sending your haven't. So before you start sending your haven't met database emails, text messages, things like that, leave an impression on them. Get in front of them. Get on the phone with them. And the big thing here is to provide value. Ask them what they need right now. And it's not just about real estate. It's, whatever's going on with them. Like, hey, if I could help you in any one way right now, real estate aside, what do you need right now? How can I provide you value? You want to try to at least learn one thing about them. Because that's how we build relationships, right? Is we exchange information about each other. We get to know each other a little bit better. So learn something that they're passionate about. Learn, their favorite place to eat. Learn, the names of their kids or their pets. Learn something that will help you build that relationship. And then this is one of the things that I harp on all the time. Set up and set expectations for future meetings and conversations to ensure stickiness. Can't say to you how many agents I talk to that, tell the same story of, I was talking to this one person, we had a really great conversation, and then I just never heard from them again. They just ghosted me. And it's not that, like, you were not a good enough person. It's not that you weren't interesting. It's not that they didn't like you. A lot of the time, it's just that, like, you didn't set the expectation of this is going to be an ongoing thing. This is how I'm going to communicate with you. And realistically, that first meeting is probably not enough for them to, on their own accord, mentally carve out a block to say, like, all right, this is someone that I'm going to build a relationship with. Because we're all so busy. Like, this is, like, we have, all of us, limited bandwidth for people and activities and events, and the things that we do regularly are, the things that either hold a great deal of importance, and after that first conversation, you haven't earned that importance yet. Or it's the things that are structured and we're held accountable to, and we have the right expectations for. So saying, hey, this was great talking to you. I'm so glad we got to connect like this. I don't want to drive you crazy, but I'm going to reach out to you in a month and see if there's anything else I can do for you. Is that okay? Set that expectation with them. Tell them, hey, listen, I'm not going to spam you, but I am going to send you some emails every now and then that are going to contain things that I think are going to be helpful for you as you start to think about your home buying journey, or, that'll be helpful to you as a homeowner or helpful to you as a renter, or whatever the case may be. But let them know, hey, I'm going to provide you value. This is the form that will take, and this is when you should expect it. You want to touch your haven't mets about 3 to 4 times per month. This is, how many of you?
Once a week.
Generally speaking, we've hopefully all heard about a 36 touch plan. The concept that at bare minimum, everyone in your database should hear from you 36 times over the course of a year. That's kind of the thing with your haven't mets. You're kind of giving them that 36 to 48 touches over the course of the year to make sure that they start to know a little bit more about who you are and what you do. So we'll move on to the Met database. Again, this is where you have the people who not only recognize who you are and what you do, but they like you. They have positive associations with you. These are the people that answer your phone calls, they open your newsletters, they respond to your text messages, and not every time, because again, we're busy human beings. I don't respond to every text messages my close personal friends send me because I'm a busy human being. But these are people who like you enough that every now and then they're going to engage with the content that you send out to them. You stay top of mind with them through a combination of mass communications like newsletters and things like that, but also personal touches, so phone calls, handwritten cards. Again, the relationship with you that you have with them is a little bit more personal, so the touches that you need to have with them also have to be a little bit more personal so that they don't feel as though they're dropping down into a transactional place with you. Really good, maybe even meet them for coffee once in a while. And when someone mentions real estate, yours is the first name they think of. And because of that, you might get the occasional referral out of them. They're at a party, someone goes, oh, you know what? I really gotta sell this house, or I'm really excited. I'm thinking about buying my house, my first home, and they go, oh, you know what? I know the best person for you to talk to. I'm gonna connect you because they heard real estate and your name was the first name that was connected to them. How many of you guys have read The Millionaire Real Estate Agent? So in the MREA, they use data from a study that was done back in the 80s, but it's also been redone, and the results are almost identical. The average person has room in their brain for the name of exactly one real estate agent. About 60% of people can only remember the name of one real estate agent. Another, I think it's 25% on top of that, can only remember a second name. So at worst, you have to be 1 or 2 in their brain, and you want to be 1. So hopefully, yours is the first thing that they think of. Because again, this is your little bit deeper level. So, Reading that description, you probably think, hey, that sounds great. I wish more of my database was like that. You want, again, your haven't met database is probably the majority of your database. That's completely normal. Your goal should be to drive haven't mets as many as you can into that met category. Because as you go closer to the center, every category is more likely to transact business with you and more likely to give you referral business than the one before it. So think of your met database as the people that sustain your business. And the VIPs that we're going to talk about in a moment, they're the people that grow it. You know, that sustain, you talk about how you've done in New York, about the same amount of business for a couple of years now. You have the sustain, you need the grow. And the VIPs category is the big step to gaining growth through your database. So you need them to take the jump from know you and like you to know you, like you, and want you to succeed. If haven't met is, yeah, I think I know them, and met is, yes, they're great, then VIP is, hey, have you met Leah? You need to know her. So let's talk about VIPs and what that category really means and entails. Your VIPs want you to succeed, and a big part of that is that you are helping them succeed. There is an exchange of value around the VIPs, and that exchange of value should also create fear of missing out, FOMO. Your Met database should know about the things that your VIPs are getting and doing that they are not. They should know about the events, giveaways, and networking that your VIPs get to be a part of. We're going to get a little bit more into that. So relationship building is the big component in converting Mets to VIPs. Your VIPs are actively invested in the success of your business. They need to genuinely care about you, but they also need to feel as though you are equally invested in their success. And that means a lot of different things. We'll kind of talk about some of the key kind of stereotype people that you want to have in your VIPs. But, you know, whether it is someone who just wants to make sure that they get as much money for the sale of their home as possible, or someone who is an investor that wants to build as much wealth as possible. Maybe you have small business owners that are in your database and you're helping their small business to thrive and succeed. You know, whatever level it happens at, they need to know that you are actively invested in their success and they will want to be actively invested in your success. So when you prove your value to your Met database, when you show them that you care, and when you give them a soft invitation to becoming a VIP, that's how you transition them. And we're going to talk about this more, but when you invite someone to be a part of your VIP circle, you are going to set expectations that, hey, my VIPs stay VIPs because they refer me business and they support my brand. Your Met database, you should be touching them 6 to 8 times a month. And the way to make that jump from the 3 to 4 times per month of the haven't met database to the 6 to 8 times per month of the Met database, keep the same 3 to 4 touches a month that you were already doing when they were haven't mets, and layer on 3 to 4 touches a month that are more personal. You know, grab coffee, here's a handwritten note, here's a little gift, like those little personal touches. So, focusing on your VIPs starts with creating a community. The perception around your VIPs should be that it is an elite inner circle. It should be like a clandestine club. It should be like a group that everyone is dying to get into. You can do that in a bunch of different ways. So create a Facebook group for your VIPs. Create a networking group for your VIPs. create a real estate investor group where they can come and share information, create a wealth building group for them. And this doesn't have to be, so if you create an investor group, you don't only invite your VIPs who are already investors. You invite all of your VIPs, and the ones who are not real estate investors, say, hey, I want you to come to this meeting. I think that you're ready to take this next step, and I think that this is something that could really help change your life. The people in this group are investing at a high level. They're building wealth that they can pass down through the generations. And this is something that I think could make a huge difference for you. Again, you're providing them value. You are actively investing yourself in their success. And that's the kind of thing that makes them want to reciprocate and actively invest in your success. At the center of all of these communities is you. You need to stay involved and engaged. So again, creating value that turns into growth. Your VIP community has to be one that is mutually beneficial. Otherwise, there's no point for someone to, like, why does someone care about the name VIP? What they care about is the different benefits, the real benefits that they reap from being someone who is in an active partnership with you. Okay, I provide you this value, the value you provide back to me is business.
These also include like vendors and stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, it's about that transaction of value. So events, giveaways. Run a VIP event where the price of admission is for everyone to bring 2 guests that haven't met you before, that should know you and know that you're in real estate. Give away a pair of baseball tickets with the condition that they bring someone that who may want to work with you on a real estate transaction. Anytime you hold an event or give someone tickets, ask them to make sure that they're posting about it on social media, tagging your accounts. If you run a giveaway, make a condition for entry a questionnaire that asks them about their real estate needs and if anyone they know may be looking to buy or sell. This database growth playbook is something that I built months and months ago, kind of before AI took on the life that it has in terms of being a search engine. But it just makes this more true, especially the part about making them post about it on social media and tagging your accounts. One of the big groups of people that you want in your VIP database are, we'll talk about it in a little bit, but people of influence. People who have a large presence in the community at large, in specific communities, and online. Online is going to be particularly important for AI pulling your name when someone is asking about, hey, I need a real estate agent who meets these needs. Do you know? And like, AI is going to look and go, well, this person and 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 this person all posted about how great this person is. They have to be someone that I recommend. Small business owners are huge, and it's so easy to form that, again, that symbiotic relationship of value for value. They also, you are both small business owners. You make friends with the person who owns the coffee shop down the street from your house. That person their life is that coffee shop. They're invested in that coffee shop growing and succeeding. If you are actively promoting them online and you are actively driving business into their place of business, it's a no-brainer for them to reciprocate and do the same. And this is the part that a lot of people get uncomfortable with, but like, ask. Straight up ask. Be like, hey, do me a favor. I post about your coffee shop all the time. Like once a month, you just throw up a post talking about how I'm your favorite real estate agent. It would really help me out. And they'll say yes, because people want to provide value to people that provide value to them. But you have to use your words and ask. So the last part is maintaining standards for being a VIP. It is a privilege. It has to be earned. Figure out how many referrals does someone need to give you each month, quarter, or year in order for them to maintain VIP status. And again, this only works if you've created that FOMO and if you're providing enough value. It does you no good to tell someone, well, to be my VIP, you have to give me 4 referrals a year if you're not providing them any value. What do I care if I'm not a VIP anymore? How active do you expect them to be in the communities and groups that you've made? I'm sure you've seen it with various aspects of, groups or professional organizations, or like, these things are only as successful as the amount that people engage with them. So if you create, an investors group amongst your VIPs, and there's 2 people out of 20 VIPs that show up to every meeting, that's not a group, and that's not helping to provide value anymore. Again, through all of this, do I provide enough value to warrant the conditions of being a VIP? Your VIPs should see or hear from you at least 3 times a week. Facebook groups or other, other ways of communicating in groups like that, it could be like a WhatsApp text thread for all your VIPs, whatever it is. Those are great ways of making sure that you are staying in front of them this consistently. It will take active effort to be in front of these people that many times a week. But that's what you have to do to make sure, again, that you are not just the first person that they think of when they hear real estate, but that on a daily basis, they are thinking of your name and how they can help your business. So here's some other sources that you can use to grow your database and grow your business from your database. Agents who might be retiring are an amazing resource for growth. As an agent, you only have one saleable asset in your business. Unless you purchased a truck that you drive around in and, hand out business cards from, you've got one saleable asset, and it is your database. Find an agent who's getting out of the business that has a robust, organized database, and either purchase it from them if you have enough liquid capital to do that, or work out a referral agreement with them. That one is much more common, but the first one happens. There are agents who find other people who are getting out of the business and say, hey, I'll give you 50 cents per contact to buy your whole database. And, and they'll throw $1,000 at someone to just say, all right, I own this database now. Referral arrangement is super nice and easy. Just say, hey, it'll cost you, it's like, so like $25 a month or something to keep a referral license active. Say, hey, I know you're retiring, keep a referral license. Every time I'm going to work your database actively, I'm going to call these people, I'm going to nurture them, I'm going to generate business from them. And every time someone from your database transacts business with me, I'll cut you 5%, 10%, whatever it is. You don't have to do anything. It's a no-brainer for someone who's retiring. That idea that they can just get some steady income makes all the sense in the world. But in order to do this, that person also has to trust you, also has to believe in your credibility. So it can't just be that you walk up to someone that you've never talked to before and say, hey, I want your database. Who do you ever do? Build relationships with other agents, have good conversations with them, take them out to lunch, pick their brain, talk to them, get to know them, and then say, hey, I know that you're looking to get out of the business. I know you're looking to spend more time with your family. I think I have a solution that's a win-win for both of us. And the best part about this is that they should already know what to expect from you and be ready to engage. So when you have an arrangement like this, when you buy their database, when you work out that referral agreement, that agent should reach out to their database and say, hey, I'm getting out of the business. I know that you've come to expect a certain level of service from me, and I want to let you know that I've partnered with someone that will deliver that same level of excellence to you, that you should feel free to reach out to them the same way you would me, and they're going to do just as good of a job or better as I would have for you. And that warm handoff will make your job working that database so much easier. You might instantly add 50, 100 mets to your database that are already on their way into the center. And then it's just your job to live up to the expectations that were set. This one is one that I harp on all the time because people are afraid of this. Your friends and family belong in your database. If the goal is for your database to know you, like you, and want you to succeed, your friends and your family are already there. They should be built-in VIPs. There are some hiccups. We all know the friends and family sometimes. Oh, I don't want to work with some, I don't want our business relationship to get in the way of our friendship or our familial relationship. Oh, I never work with family on business stuff. Yeah, it happens. But so long as that friend or family member is someone that you could reasonably expect to get business from, they belong in your database, and you should be nurturing that relationship just as strongly as you would anyone else that you have that, that higher level of trust and credibility with. You're not there to market to them. That's the big hang up that a lot of people have. It's like, oh, well, I don't want my family to feel like I'm just marketing to them or spamming them. Great, don't do either of those things. Those are terrible ideas to do to anybody, never mind your family. You are there to maintain the relationship with them, and that relationship can be built on shared value. Small business groups are an enormous, enormous, enormous opportunity for you. These are some of the easiest people to provide value to. You can be the connective tissue between people who need to know each other. The people in these groups are usually people of influence, and we talked about that a little bit before. People of influence are going to help spread your name and who you are and what you do in ways that other people just can't. Businesses have real estate needs too. And even if you don't feel comfortable doing commercial deals, there are other agents within our brokerage that are very proficient at commercial deals, and a referral check spends just as well as a normal commission check. And it takes this much of your time instead of this much of your time. So find small business groups, find, chamber of commerce meetings, find different groups and organizations where small business owners meet to network and to grow. Make as many of them VIPs as possible. And the great thing about those groups is that you know that if there's a small business owner who is already in a group like that, they are actively looking for these kinds of connections. You're not trying to sell them on something that they're not already interested in. They want someone who's going to connect them to other professionals that can help their business grow. They want someone that's going to talk about their business at a high level to other people and help it grow. They're already actively looking for that, and all you're doing is stepping up and saying, yes, I will be that person. Let's enter this business relationship. Does anyone have any questions about any of that?
This is good. I feel like there's been quite a few things that you have mentioned that I haven't been, I've outlined what I want my VIP to look like, as far as what qualifies them down to number of referrals, and then the rewards and value or benefits they get out of it. And I appreciate how you broke it down too, but a lot of it is just removing that delay of action and just actually making it happen too.
The best way to do that is to set goals and standards. And the nice thing about breaking it out this way is that you can create metrics based on this information. go into your database and create a tag for met, haven't met VIP. And then you can filter and see, all right, how many people in my database are Mets, haven't Mets, and VIPs. And unfortunately, there's going to be a lot of people who are none of those three, and they're going to be leads. And you want to tag them as leads. But then you can go through your database and you can regularly, I recommend people run the numbers on their database every month at minimum and say, okay, this month, how many Mets, how many haven't Mets, and how many VIPs are in my database. And once you know that number and once you're tracking that number, you set goals for yourself. And you say, okay, this month I have, all right, so I have 366 people in my database. This month, 300 of those people are haven't Mets. 55 people are Mets, and 16 of them are VIPs. And I'm setting a goal for myself that by next month, I will have added 4 to my VIPs, and I'll have added 20 to my Mets.
Okay.
And hold yourself accountable to those. And a big part of that too is, okay, if I'm going to say these people are my VIPs, and I'm going to hold, I created the standards for my VIPs, I have to actionably start providing them value. So by this time next month, I will have planned or executed on 1 VIP appreciation event, or 3 giveaways, or whatever you decided to be, but create an actionable target that you can achieve, and then make sure you achieve it. Find someone who can hold you accountable to that. And your vendor partners are going to be great for that. You go to, we just got here. You go to Len Vanicola from Rate, and you say, hey, this is my plan of action. This is what I want to do. I want to, by the end of next month, I want to have hosted a VIP event. Do you guys think you could sponsor it for me or help sponsor it for me? They're now financially invested. They're going to hold you accountable. They're going to make sure that this thing happens. They're going to make sure that it provides value because they want people to show up to it. They want people to generate business for you from that event because the expectation is that then they're also going to get that business. Find something that you know you can act on, find someone to hold you accountable, and set yourself a goal. And don't make it. One of the things that I think people trip up on with setting these goals, well, I'm going to do these things by the end of the year. It's the issue with New Year's resolutions. This is something that I want to do this year. Humans can't operate like that. We need to do things at a more immediate, more granular level. So you can have year goals, but you better also have month goals. You can even have quarterly goals, but the largest, you want to at least have a monthly goal that you're holding yourself to. And because of that, it has to be something that you know you can accomplish in the course of a month. So don't create this grand project that will take way more than a month to do. Chunk it down. I'm going to start building value, and eventually I'm going to ramp up to the place where I'm doing, 4 VIP events a year and 8 giveaways a year and this and that and other day. But today, I'm starting my planning 1 event. Otherwise, it gets overwhelming. It doesn't happen. Yeah. Any other questions, thoughts? Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, with the habit nets, what are the touches looking like where it's not getting super repetitive and you're sending the same email or the same text or doing the same call every time?
Yeah, so your haven't mets, this is going to be the majority of your database, honestly. So you're going to have to kind of ride this line of they have to be scalable. You have to be able to do, the same touches for a couple hundred or a couple thousand people. It can't be something where once your database hits a certain size and you have 800 haven't nets that you can't do those touches anymore. So you kind of have to do a balance of things that are more generic, but that incorporate the more personal, again, because you want to shift them towards that net category. So I'm a big proponent of newsletters as long as they're good and actually provide value to people. You know, there's some really, really bad newsletters out there, but the newsletters that tend to be successful are the ones that feel personal. And I don't mean like feel personal to the person receiving it, but like show a little bit about you as a human being instead of you as a real estate agent. Also, that show investment in the communities that you're a part of or that you do business in, that maybe help people become aware of events or charities or things like that that are in their communities. A lot of people like to be a part of their community and invest in and support these things. And don't feel the same as every single other real estate agent newsletter. But a good newsletter can be very, very effective, and there are a lot of agents that do it at a high level. So I'd say, you know, one touch a month can be a newsletter. At minimum, you want to call them once a quarter. So, and again, this is a lot about expectation setting, because what you don't want to do is go through and, you know, like, okay, I have 200 people in my haven't met database, so I'm making 200 calls a quarter, but realistically, I'm either making 200 dials and talking to 10 people, or I'm making 1,000 dials to talk to, you know, 100 people. So when you set the expectation of, hey, I'm gonna call you in a couple months and check in and see if there's anything else I can do to help you out. Or before you call them, just shoot them a text and say, hey, you know, I was just thinking about you the other day and I wanted to catch up. Is now a good time to talk? Before you make the phone call. Try to find a way to set the expectation so that you're not wasting a bunch of time on dial after dial after dial to not get those conversations. And the rest of those touches, you know, again, this kind of harkens a little bit more back to the database optimization playbook class, but you want your database to be organized in such a way that, like, yes, okay, I have all 200 of these people in my haven't met category, but each of them also has 5 or 6 other tags that tell me a little bit more about them and puts them into different buckets. So the other touches can be, okay, all of my haven't mets that I know are investors, they get these email drips that have information that's relevant to investors. All of my haven't mets that are, you know, renters get these drips that are useful information for renters to be aware of, and kind of make them, you know, again, not one-on-one personal, but more personal in that it's specifically providing value to something that defines them and something that they're a part of. And that will help it feel less generic and more personal.
I know you mentioned you want the Mets to feel like they want to be part of that VIP. Is that something like maybe on a smaller scale we should be incorporating with the habit Mets? I'm just thinking, like, for example, like if I threw a VIP event and I want to get more Mets into that, I might send them a recap of what happened, or you know, to get that.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
is that something also maybe send that out to the habit Mets too?
There's going to be like runoff into the habit Mets from your efforts to create that FOMO with your Mets. A part of that could be incorporating information about your VIP event into your newsletter. You know, and they're looking at all these pictures of this like great cornhole tournament you threw at the beach where, you know, all of your VIPs were having a great time. It could be, so our in-house coach Jerry Wells runs the Philly division of Coalition Property Group. The main the like OG body of quote coalition is based in the like DC area, and their social media is all about the things that they did for their VIPs, and they do a fantastic job of this. So they post about all their client appreciation events, and like they look amazing. They look like, wow, they post about how, you know, the rainmakers of that team are real estate investors themselves. So they take a group of their VIPs who want to get into real estate investing and they walk them through one of their current active projects that they're working on. And as they walk them through, they talk about, hey, this is how much I paid for this. This is what I have to do here. This is what my plan is. This is the strategy. This is how I run the calculations. These are the pitfalls to watch out for. And then they post about that on social media. They say, hey, had a great walkthrough of this investment property with my VIP clientele. And that creates that FOMO. And it's geared towards your Mets. But just by virtue of the fact that you're putting it out there, some of those haven't Mets are going to end up coming across it, and it's going to start building it as well. Yeah.
I'm not super like tech savvy, so does like every CRM come equipped with newsletter like building function, or is it more complex?
So,
Because I would love to send out newsletters like once a month.
Doesn't
They
matter,
have a lot of
it is
value,
for us.
but it's
so yes. So the brokerage creates a newsletter that all of our agents can use every month.
right.
Most CRMs have some functionality to create a newsletter as well. But it's also not something that you have to be tech savvy to like just learn enough Canva to do. And it's also something that there's 1,000 different AI tools that can help you as
But
well.
when it comes to sending out, like, do I have to copy and paste it on the email?
Oh, in terms of sending it out, every CRM should have some way of sending out mass emails. And again, what you just want to make sure that you're doing is anytime you're sending out mass emails, you want to make sure that it's going to only people that will find that of value. In a newsletter, you probably want to send out to everyone in your database.
Right.
It should be generic isn't the right word, but it should be generic enough that everyone gets it. But by that same token, any other mass emails that you send out, you should have the ability, every CRM should have the ability to say, like, okay, this is something I just want to send out to all of these people. And then you just create one mass email to everyone that's tagged a certain way, or everyone that meets certain filter conditions. Yeah, if you have like specific questions on it, you can always shoot an email or book some time with me. If you're like stuck, like you can't figure out how to do this.
I probably will.
Put
If
on
I
your-
make a like my newsletter, then I can put it on my Canva, right? Make a lead newsletter from Canva, download it as probably a PDF, then I can embed that into an email on command. Or like how, or would I have to go directly through command
So
and make it there so that when they open it, it's all right there. You know what I mean?
it's a simple sounding question with a really complicated answer. The shortest way for me to answer that question is to say that you can do it that way if you aren't going to have any embedded links or so that people need to click.
Okay.
Because if you create it in command, download it as, actually you probably download it as a PNG,
Okay,
and then you want to put it into the email builder inside of command and just slap the image in there,
Yeah.
you can do that, but it will be a static image.
okay,
So if you have like different, a lot of newsletters will have, all right, here's this article here, there's this thing here, and at the bottom of each section, they have like a read more button that takes you to an outside link or takes you to a blog post or whatever. You can't do that because again, everything is in a static image or
Right.
a couple of static images.
right.
So that's where the complexity starts to
Yeah.
show up.
I'm just wondering how the best way to do that so that, I mean, the links are there, but then it's also like my branding. You know what I mean?
Thing.
I think that, well, once the Canva partnership fully rolls out for KW, I think that we're going to see that become a lot easier. But I would also just play around with the new email editor inside of Command Designs. It's way better than it used to be, and there's a lot of ways for you to really incorporate your branding very effectively. But again, a lot of that is going to change and improve in the next couple months once the Canva partnership rolls out as well.
Cool. I'll fiddle with it.
So, All right, well, I think we gotta make way for the lunch and learn. Well, rather, I think I gotta make way for the lunch and learn. So hopefully you are all staying here for the lunch and learn, because these guys are also gonna provide a lot of value too.